In this video clip, you're going to learn how to adjust your workouts based on your body type. Hey there, what's happening, Total Fitness Bodybuilders? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, and in today's video clip, I'm going to fulfill a request from one of my online followers. And Jason recently sent me a message asking if I would make a video covering each of the three body types, meaning the Ectomorph, Mesomorph, and Endomorph, and providing some, training tips and strategies for each of those three body types. So that's exactly what we're going to do now in this video clip. So as I just mentioned, there are three distinct categories of the human body. We have the Ectomorph, the Mesomorph, and the Endomorph. Now the Ectomorph is the skinny guy. This person typically has very little body fat and very little muscle mass, and they have trouble gaining weight. Now for the Ectomorph, muscle growth takes longer, but on the plus side, the gains that they do make tend to be leaner and more solid, better quality gains. Now on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have the Endomorph, and this is the fat guy. Categorized by the soft, round body, and they're always struggling to lose weight. Now, Endomorphs typically gain body fat very easily, but on the plus side, they also gain muscle mass and strength very easily. In fact, a lot of powerlifters and strongmen and wrestlers and football players have an endomorphic body type. Now, in the middle of this, kind of the best of both worlds, we have the Mesomorph. And a Mesomorph is categorized by a muscular body. They typically can gain or lose weight easily, depending on how they structure their diet and training. And for the most part, they have the ideal combination of lean muscle to low body fat. So most bodybuilders have a mesomorphic body structure, especially top-level bodybuilders. So when you hear someone talking about this person has good genetics for bodybuilding, more often than not, they're talking about having a mesomorph body structure where you can pack on a lot of muscle and also keep the body fat low. Now, obviously, most people aren't going to fit exactly with one category or another. We tend to have a combination of the three body types. But knowing which one that you predominantly lean towards can help you structure your workouts and your nutrition program to better meet your fitness goals. So here are some general training and nutrition guidelines to help you with each of the three body types. For the Ectomorph, they need to focus their efforts on gaining muscular body weight. Getting bigger is the #1 priority. So heavy weight training will help the Ectomorph to stimulate muscle growth. And doing a slower paced workout with longer rest periods will allow for heavier weights to be lifted. A good rule of thumb is to rest at least 2 minutes between sets and even longer for big compound power lifts such as the squat, deadlift, and bench press. Now, ectomorphs need to train less frequently in order to give their body plenty of time for recovery and growth. So a good rule of thumb is to train every second day or 3 days a week. Now when it comes to cardio and aerobic activities, these should be kept to a minimum for ectomorphs, especially while they're in that growth phase and trying to get bigger. Keeping your outside activities to a minimum will conserve calories and allow those calories to be utilized for growth and recovery. Now an ectomorph, when it comes to their nutrition, they need to make sure that they are consuming more calories than they burn off in order to have a caloric surplus from which to grow from. And ideally, they should not go any longer than 2 hours without eating something. You want to keep that constant, steady influx of food in your system to provide that caloric surplus. And every meal should contain a combination of protein and carbohydrates. Now, while the diet should be focused around natural and unprocessed foods, adding in some higher calorie foods and higher fat foods like peanut butter, red meat, whole eggs, and full fat dairy products can help the ectomorph to increase their caloric intake for growth. I mean, ectomorphs have a very fast metabolism, so the risk of gaining body fat is low. And even if they do gain some body fat during their mass building process, they can easily get rid of that excess body fat once they return to a lower calorie diet. Now, for the opposite body type, the endomorph, they're going to adjust their training and nutrition to help optimize fat loss. An endomorph's biggest problem is losing body fat and keeping it off. So when it comes to weight training, the main focus is on burning up more calories to create a leaner physique. Endomorphs should be using shorter rest periods between sets, a higher volume of sets in order to create more calorie expenditure, along with more frequent workouts. Ideally, they should be weight training at least 4 to 5 days per week to help improve their muscle to fat ratio. And to go along with the weight training, endomorphs should be doing at least 30 minutes of daily cardio to help burn up that stored body fat and increase the metabolism. Doing activities like fast walking, hiking, bike riding, swimming, and using cardio machines at the gym are all great ways to burn up extra calories. Now, when it comes to nutrition, an endomorph needs to eat less than their maintenance calories in order to burn up stored body fat for energy. Ideally, they should be consuming about 5 to 6 small meals spaced out every few hours during the day. And these meals should be based primarily around lean protein and green vegetables. The only time starchy carbohydrates should be consumed is immediately after exercise, because at this time the body is primarily concerned with replacing muscle glycogen, and the carbohydrates will be unlikely to get stored as body fat. Now, obviously, sweets, junk foods, and processed foods should be eliminated from the diet, except for an occasional treat once or twice a week. And finally, we have the mesomorph. Mesomorphs tend to be in the middle of the road as far as muscle mass and body fat. They naturally have an athletic body, but to improve it, they still need to exercise and diet correctly. Most top-level bodybuilders have a mesomorphic body type. Now, weight training for mesomorphs can be done more often and for longer sessions than would be ideal for an ectomorph, but they still need to be careful not to overdo it and overtrain. And depending on the individual's fitness goal, a mesomorph could focus along the guidelines suggested for an ectomorph and gear their training towards getting bigger, or they could focus more along the guidelines outlined for an endomorph and gear their training towards losing fat and getting ripped. A lot of mesomorphs like to cycle their training between bulking and cutting phases, and generally they'll focus on gaining mass and bulking up during the fall and winter, and then switch to training for fat loss during the spring and summer in order to get that lean, ripped beachbody look. Now, eventually, ectomorphs and endomorphs can take on a similar training cycle pattern as their physiques get more developed and they begin to take on some of the characteristics of a mesomorph. But they will always have those tendencies and need to work on their trouble areas, be that gaining size for ectomorphs or losing fat for endomorphs. So there you go. That's a good general overview of how to train and eat based on your individual body type. Now, when you know what your body type is and how to properly train and eat for it, you'll make much better progress in the gym. And ultimately, your fitness goal should be to get as close to a mesomorphic build as possible. And with correct training and nutrition, this is an attainable goal. Now, while some people may have to work harder than others to gain muscle or lose body fat, making progress is possible for everyone regardless of your genetics. And oftentimes, people with a stronger work ethic and more determination can overcome their limitations and surpass those with better genetics.